What is up, guys, and welcome to the Thrashin Supply channel. Behind me, I have the boys, Cole, Juan. We have our 2024 model Road Glide, and Juan, what do we got over here?
We got an exhaust from Bassani.
That's right.
Up, dude.
Let's get it.
To see what this thing looks like. I've got the tool.
Got an exhaust for Cole's bike.
So while they're opening that box up, here's what's going down today. We're gonna give you guys some sound clips of the 2024 model bike with the stock exhaust on it. I'm gonna go rip it up and down the road, give you a couple of views, let you hear what it sounds like right out of the showroom floor. And then we're gonna do a quick install and we're gonna show you guys how this exhaust system, let's see, come on.
Dude.
There it is, bro.
Dude, that's a little shorty guy, huh?
Yeah.
That's gonna sound mean.
We got a chrome mid-length Road Rage 2. Let's kind of hold it up to the bike, get an idea of what.
All right, dude. Something like that. Yeah, that's sick.
Right? So mine's a true dual over there. So mine actually has doesn't go into one collector.
Okay. What about ones?
Mine is a Bassani 2-in-1, but mine goes all the way to the end of the bag.
Little
So
shorty
this
guy?
is a shorty guy. Honestly, this is what I wanted for my bike, but V&H didn't have a short one, and they're also my homies. But these guys got our 24 set up with this one, which I think is a good compromise. I don't like the really short ones because they make some that end up like right here.
Yeah.
And I think that almost looks too much like a Dyna pipe for this. I think this looks like proper bagger, but it looks style.
A little more racy.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't look as.
So let's cut right into the chase right here. I'm gonna get my helmet on. Let's dial this thing up with cameras. Let's let the people hear exactly what this thing sounds like with this full stock dual system. And then let's get the tools out and let's show them exactly. We're gonna show you guys exactly how to swap this exhaust out. We'll call out the tools. We'll show you exactly how long it takes us. There will be 3 of us working on it. We're gonna get right into this thing.
Let's get it.
Here we go. The bike has right around 1,500 miles on it. We've been using it quite a bit. Let's hear how it sounds. So this is the stock exhaust, stock air filter. Bike that has the exhaust system on it to Arizona Bike Week for the last 1,500 miles. Cole, I feel bad you rode this thing with the stock exhaust.
Dude, the whole time in the comms, you guys are clowning on me and everybody with stock exhaust. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. Ours is in the mail. Like, I can't wait.
All right, let's get this thing inside. We'll let it cool down a little bit, but let's dive into it.
Okay, Tim.
One final sound clip, all right? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the last time you're gonna hear this bike with this exhaust. All right, guys, so you just heard the stock exhaust. That is, I'm very happy we're getting rid of this. While that bike's cooling down a little bit, we're gonna open this beautiful chrome system up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's inside the muffler. See what bath wants to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's the tip of it?
Yeah, dude. Look at that.
Little kick out.
Dude, straight through. She's gonna be pretty loud.
Oh, it's a shorty.
She's a shorty. It's interesting on the loud side, but it's gonna be cool.
All right, what do we got over here, Cole?
These are headers.
And the heat shield, right? This is a heat shield system.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Collector heat shield, nice and chrome. Over a decade ago, my buddy got a black exhaust system from somebody, and he cut all the things and didn't realize he cut through the plastic and scratched his pipe everywhere he cut
Nice.
it.
so good with
Dude.
So one thing that Bassani does is they do like an industrial chrome on their header. You can tell the difference in chrome from the muffler to the header.
Dude, that looks good. Even without the heat shields. Dude, Chloe, your bike's gonna be sick.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
This is an aggressive like swoop right here. It's gonna look a lot better.
Well, let's go compare it real quick. I'll take these off and then drop them. I just want to see it all shiny. What that's doing, Cole, is giving you an equal length head pipe.
Oh, okay.
So now this system has the length that this has. We are as excited as you guys. So what we'll do is we'll start with tearing the exhaust off this thing. We'll get you guys the weights of both systems, how much weight savings we have. All right, so before we start going in and tearing apart this bike, I'm gonna show you guys what we pulled out so far that we know we're gonna use. 5/16 Allen, then we have a 9/16 deep socket, we have a 1/2 inch socket, we have a short extension, 3/8 drive ratchet, then we have a 1/4 drive ratchet, 1/4 drive extension, we have a swivel head, 1/2 inch, and then we have a swivel head, 8mm. This will actually be for the heat shields. Then when I am doing a new exhaust install, no matter how new the bike is, and yes, the exhaust only has 1,500 miles on it, I still like to put fresh exhaust gaskets as well as brand new retaining rings. These are both available on our website. These retaining rings, they are like, once they go through a heat cycle, they don't retain their spring that they are when they're like brand new. So once you bring them off the stock system, they won't clamp back. So always go with a fresh set. If you're doing this much work, you might as well not have any issues. So first things first, I'm gonna open up instruction manual from Bassani. These are the basic tools that I know we're gonna need. They may recommend a couple other tools needed, but I will call out the tools that we do use to get this done along the way. So here is their instruction manual. I have a really good idea how to do this, so I'm not gonna fully read through that myself, but they do supply you with the clamps. Those are gonna hold on the heat shields. This big clamp is going to hold on the heat shield to the muffler. Bigger clamp is going to hold the muffler onto the head pipe. And then there's a couple pieces of hardware that they supply you with. So these are O2 sensor plugs. Here's a couple pieces, I'm sure, for the bracket to hold the muffler on, and some washers for that. So with that being said, that is all we're gonna need. So let's dive into this thing. We're gonna take the bags off. We're gonna do it while the bike's low. Juan's gonna help me out with the right side bag. Look at that. Give you guys an idea as well. We will keep track of our time.
4:23.
All right, so 4:20. And we'll let you guys know what time it is when we're done. All right, so we do have the luxury of a lift. So we're gonna lift the bike up. Trust me, I have done exhaust systems on the garage floor. It is very well possible, but first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the mufflers off on the stock bike. There's a left and a right. So you're gonna take off these 2 bolts as well as the clamps holding the mufflers onto the head pipe. So we have a 1/2 inch, and we're gonna tackle this pretty fast. I got one over there with a second 1/2 inch. We're gonna get through this pretty quick. Hey Cole, you wanna undo the clamp on the muffler? So while I am taking the muffler bolts off, I may beat Cole to the muffler clamp. You're actually not gonna be reusing this for this system, but most other systems you would be reusing this. So slide this out. Slide this out on this side. All right. I know that on this system, we are not gonna be using these pieces of rubber. So I'm gonna pull those out as well.
Muffler clamp is one size, and then the crossover pipe is a different.
Okay.
Crossover pipe is a 9/16, this one, but the one you're working on is bigger.
They say that the mid pipe is that, the muffler is different.
5/16 just so happens to be like the same as the 13 or something.
So what, you have a 13? 15?
That's a 15. No,
all right.
The other one is different.
So we're working on a American-made Harley-Davidson, but for some odd reason, we have a 15mm. I don't know if these guys are hack jobs behind me.
No, what had happened was it's bigger. So he went to the next size, which is I think with the 5/8. That's not a 5/8, it was wiggling. I didn't want to strip it out. It's a 15.
Okay.
I think it's a 15 and a 14.
So we're going with a 15. Loosen the right muffler.
Yeah, it's a 15 and a 14.
So you will need a 15mm and a 14mm deep socket to remove your muffler.
The confusion
and your
was
mid-pipe.
14 and a 9/16 are almost identical.
Other side.
All right, both mufflers are off. Now we're on to the cross pipe right here.
I would loosen that clamp, and then we need to get rid of this.
Okay, so here we are using the 14 millimeter. I'm loosening the cross pipe clamp, but as you can see, Juan's got his sneaky little fingers over here. What are you doing over there, Juan?
We're loosening this support bracket that holds the crossover pipe. We're not gonna need that because we're doing the 2-in-1. So this gets removed.
What size wrench are you using?
This is the 1/2 inch. And then we're gonna also remove this additional bracket. I don't know if you can see up there.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be gone as well. Again, we don't need that. This hanger.
Yep.
We won't be needing that as well.
Okay.
Also, just wanted to add, the easiest way to think of all this is basically removing stuff from the back forward and then installing from the front back.
All right, good idea. There you go. We definitely need to get the O2 sensors unplugged, that's for sure. So I'm gonna remove this, not break it. Don't wanna do that. Looks like they're right here maybe. So there's zip tie right here. So we're cutting zip ties, don't scratch the frame. And that one is this one. So you're just going to pull it off, and now rear O2 is off. I think that's the back one. This is the front one right here. So then this would be the front, and there's now a bunch more zip ties, Cole. So I'm pulling that through.
Oh man.
And yeah, start cutting zip ties. Cole is basically following the O2 sensor wire up the frame. He's clipping zip ties, basically kind of untangling it through what it's got going. That when we pull the head pipe off, nothing else is attached.
Removing the 2 screws that hold that
Bracket on. What size tool are you using?
This one is a 3/16 Allen.
Cole basically has O2 wires all untangled and unplugged. He's ready. I think the next thing we're gonna do is take off the floorboard mounts. We're gonna do that by removing the Allens off of the frame. That way, when we're removing the exhaust, it's not going to hit the floorboard. So that way when we pull the system off, it doesn't get trapped right there. I do want to tell you guys something. My boy Juan is a little bummed that he even started taking the bracket off because he's getting what? He's maybe getting an 1/8 turn with an Allen. He can't get a ratchet in there.
I got one side out. It's just fighting, but hey, I want to make this thing as light as possible to give it a better chance against my bike.
All right, so what size Allen are we working with here?
This is the 5/16 that you call up.
I know this is a little premature. Cole's over there still working on the floorboard.
Dude.
But we could put the left bag back on.
Oh yeah, I mean we're done on this side.
Yeah. So left side of the bike's done. We're never putting a muffler back on the left side. The cool thing about the 2024 model bike is it doesn't have the extended bag.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't look bad. So let's grab that bag. This will be the first time seeing this bike without a lefty muffler on it.
I'm all done on my side right here.
Dude, I'm literally sweating right now.
No left muffler.
It already looks lighter. It lightens up the look of the bike visually.
Yep, let's do it. Oh, you got them off?
Dude.
I think we're gonna have to loosen the heat shields to get access to the 2 nuts that hold the flange nuts.
So the easiest way to remove the heat shields, or at least loosen them, is an 8 millimeter swivel head. That's what I always like to use. He's already got the tool, get it. So Cole's got the 8 mil swivel head. Juan's got just an 8 mil Speedy Gonzalez.
Okay.
This is a great video to watch if you do get an exhaust, because then you don't have to do the sound comparison. We did it for you, because then you won't have to work on your bike while it's boiling hot.
Scratch the frame.
All right.
Now we have access to the 2 flange nuts.
And then this one on the engine that's holding that up. So what size do we have, Cole? Tell me what size you just grabbed.
1/2 inch, brother.
All right, 1/2 inch.
Got 1/2 inch swivel.
Show me that thing. Show me that.
Right
1/2
here.
inch swivel. If you guys don't have a set of swivel heads in your toolbox, it makes the job much easier. Okay, so the front cylinder, which is behind the frame, you can see it right there. This is where these swivel heads are really come in handy. They make it to where it's not as much of a fight. You can see I'm basically spinning it at an angle right now. much easier. Removed all the hardware off of the exhaust studs. We removed the hardware off the center of the header. Everything is loose. And if you remember, we also removed the O2 sensor plugs. That way the exhaust header will come off. I'm using rags because we did just ride it and it is hot. So you're gonna need to do a little bit of kind of wiggling. And when you get to this point, you're gonna wanna kind of go slow so you don't scratch your heads or your cylinders. One more zip tie, right there. All right, there you have it, guys. Stock header system. All right, so before we go and weigh both systems, we are going to take off the O2 sensors, the retaining rings, and the clips. That way, the weight doesn't include those. Which also, we're gonna be reusing these pieces.
All right, we're using the 17mm wrench to get the O2 sensor.
We will reusing this and putting it in the new header.
Length for the cable.
Yes. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the retaining rings. You could do this with pliers or rip it off. I have a special tool. Ready to set off. And we will be reusing these. Let's go get a weight comparison. No, I already did it. All right, guys, so we have the scale. It's zeroed out. And what we're gonna start doing is loading on this system. This is the stock system. Heat shields, mufflers, header, brackets, and one.
Wow.
29 pounds
That's kind of a lot.
for all of the stock goodies. But now, let's go weigh the new one. And zeroed out.
All right, let's start putting some.
Be gentle with the goodies. Be gentle with the goodies, Cole.
Yeah.
Why are you yelling at me, dude?
No, I'm just gonna rest it on here so it doesn't.
One more heat shield. Yeah, oh, and a bracket. There we go. 20 pounds for the system right there.
8 pounds less.
Was it 8?
That's 30%.
It was 28, right? 29
29, yeah.
pounds? Okay.
9 pound savings. Hey,
Yeah.
better than nothing. All right, let's go install this thing. I'm just excited to hear it. Okay, so before we go ahead and start dialing in the head pipe to throw it on the bike, this exhaust system is held on by this bracket that hangs off the transmission. So I'm gonna go walk over to the bike and show you guys what I'm talking about. The previous stock system, it goes so far back on the bag, it hangs off of the kind of bag mount, hangs off through this. I removed all that hardware, and now since this is short, we are going to mount this bracket off of the transmission like so. So Juan is going to go ahead. What size do you have?
It is a 1/4 inch Allen. And we're gonna remove these 3 bolts. We will not be reusing the stock ones. They supplied us with new hardware for this.
The reason why they supply you with the new hardware is to add length to the bolt to compensate for the thickness of the bracket. The difference, so this is what we took out. This is the bolt we're putting in, and you can see that is basically to make up for the difference in the thickness of the bracket. While he's doing that, I'm gonna get them ready. I'm gonna put a little Loctite.
Oh, going from the top.
Almost there.
Just gonna get these started.
There you go. Always refer to your service manual for the correct torque spec for your bike. Bracket is tight, and we're gonna keep moving on. Let's get to the header. Use the supplied O2 bung reducers, because these are the smaller ones, right? And you are going to use anti-seize.
On both the adapter and on the sensor. So that will do.
I'll do that while you.
Make sure you put the right ones in the right location. The front one is the longest one. All right, we're gonna tighten the adapter first. This is a 22. Make sure it's nice and tight. I'm gonna tighten the sensor. This is a 17. Okay.
The front's done. Now he's gonna go ahead and do that to the rear. While he's working on that, we are going to be putting the exhaust flanges on the headers. And then we are going to be using the new retaining rings. Before we go ahead and throw the exhaust header onto the bike, I personally like to put a little bit of anti-seize on the exhaust studs. Never fun when those things seize on, you know, maybe a year or 2 or 3 down the road, and then it pulls the stud out or breaks the stud. A little insurance for later on. All right, we're ready. Let's do this. All right, here we go. Gonna slide the O2 sensor where it should go, so I'm not doing that later on. All right, let's do this. Let's take your time. That way we don't scratch anything along the way. Okay, so here is the stock hardware that we used when we took off the exhaust, or the exhaust studs. Again, always nice to have the swivel head. At this moment, you're just kind of getting them started. You don't want to over tighten anything right now. Just want to get all the threads kind of going. We got them all on. All right, so we have all of the exhaust stud nuts on, and you can see, check this out. The header is very loose, and that's how much play there really is. So you don't want to over tighten this until the muffler's on, but I will get it a little bit more snug. They're all in there. I will tell you this bottom one is a little tricky to get to. Very thankful to have the swivel head right there. Also thankful to have the swivel head on this one as well. Okay, they all have a couple threads. You can see now the header is much more tight. Still some play, but I'm gonna go ahead and install the muffler on it so that we can get everything lined up. All right, so I'm grabbing a latex glove. I'm going to rub anti-seize inside of the muffler, and then once you get that on your hands, it keeps going. You're also gonna want to anti-seize exhaust clamp, the muffler clamp. Not only does this help it slide on, but it's also like preventative maintenance for when you ever need to take it off. It helps it not seize together. Hence the name anti-seize.
Oh. I was afraid to do that.
There it is. Again, I'm not gonna tighten this clamp. I'm gonna get the bolts onto the bracket. Again, the header is still loose, and you can see how much play there is. I'm gonna get it going on here before I start. Kind of like when you tighten a wheel, your lug nuts on a car. I'm gonna go in circle rotation, but I'm gonna get every bolt a little snug right here. All right, so now I have the supplied hardware for the muffler. I am going to Loctite it. Better safe than sorry. Start this, just get a couple of threads, go get the rear one. And now I'm going to snug it up. Is a 1/2 inch socket. I usually like to get the muffler a little more snug than the head pipes to kind of see really where the exhaust wants to sit, rather than tighten the head pipes and then pulling the muffler to the bracket. That can cause unneeded stress on this exhaust system. I'll still leave it like snug. I'm not fully tight, but as you can see, the system doesn't want to move anymore. This is where I believe the system wants to sit. So now we can go ahead, tighten up the head pipe. But again, you will want to do that in a rotation. So I'm gonna do a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom. I'm not gonna go full max tight because it still does pull and puts tension on the system. And so you want to make sure that you're not pulling one side more than the other. Tension over here. Down to the bottom. Also, one thing to keep in mind, after a couple heat cycles, you are gonna wanna go and check these. They could kind of settle into place, especially with the new gaskets, which is wise to do. All right, now that I've gone around the exhaust stud nuts a couple times, made sure that they were evenly tightened down. We've routed the O2 sensors back in. We're gonna plug them back in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, tighten down the clamp. This is a 13 millimeter. And now I'm gonna go ahead and snug up the muffler to the bracket. We're almost ready to hear it. All we gotta do is throw the heat shields back on, the floorboards, the bags, the little electrical cover. We're ready to go.
Throw the heat shields on. These are not fun to put on ever.
One of the biggest things when you're doing the heat shields is like preparing to see where you're gonna be able to clamp it, right? So if I put it this way, it'd be hard to get to, but I'm gonna have to put it this way. We'll be able to get to that one there. We'll do that one there, so they're in the right spot.
You know, just enjoying putting some heat shields on, starting pipe clamps in areas you can't fit your fingers in.
Yep. Can I bother you or should I let you finish?
I go for it, brother.
All right.
Water's great.
Sorry. This is even just getting it on is kind of a struggle. All right, Cole, I got a couple more for you to start. We are nearing the final completion. Juan is just snugging up the heat shields right now on the exhaust, and I just overheard Cole saying, what do you say?
Dude, that looks so much better than stock.
Wait till you hear it.
Actually, I've never heard this new bike, any of them with an exhaust. All the ones we've ridden have been stock.
Yeah.
I was just pissed the whole time we were in Arizona Bike Week. You guys could hear you the whole time. Juan would even ride up. He didn't even say anything. I could just hear his bike over mine.
Cole, we can get this floorboard on. We're gonna double check for exhaust clearance against the floorboard. Sometimes the aftermarket exhaust systems will protrude more than stock, so we wanna make sure that there's no rubbing going on. Yeah, so you can see it's gonna wanna rub right there. And so Bassani supplied us with a spacer.
Oh, that's what that was for.
Supplied is about, looks like a 1/4 inch spacer. Keep in mind, we are re-Loctiting these onto the frame. This is an Allen head. What size Allen head are you using?
5/16.
5/16 Allen to put the boards back on. Should already have that tool out because you took them off. All right, now while Cole goes ahead, tightens up these floorboards, gets them back on the bike, time for Juan and I to throw the electrical cover on and the saddlebag. Let's do this. Slide it back a little bit. You all snugged up, Cole?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're good. All right, so before we start this thing up, we have to clean off all of our greasy paw prints off of the exhaust.
A little brake parts cleaner.
Brake parts cleaner, all right.
Suspension clean, contact cleaner, pretty much all the same stuff, right?
All right.
Yeah, if you don't clean these off, these fingerprints will be kind of stained into the finish.
Like, look at those fingerprints right there. So we started this at 4:20. What time is it, Juan?
It is 5:49.
All right, so about an hour and a half. We did take the exhaust over to the scale. We did burn a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
There was 3 of us working on it. But I would say in your garage by yourself, I would allow myself to have about 2 to 3 hours to successfully and calmly
Yeah, go
get it
slow,
done.
do it right, have all the right tools laid out, not rush it. Should be pretty fun to do it on your weekend or something, and you'll be stoked on how it comes out.
We did not tune this bike. Don't have knowledge yet of anybody that is able to tune these bikes.
Yeah, this is a brand new 24. I know there's people working on it, but we have not heard somebody successfully tune it. But like you saw when we did the CVO on your bike, it ran okay with without the tuner.
Yep, bike will always see more performance and it will run better, probably better MPGs, better temps if you do get a full custom tune for your exhaust, for your new exhaust. We do plan on putting a intake on this and possibly a cam and building it. So, you know, we're not ready to take it to the dyno and fully dyno it today. Like you saw when we had my 117 with the exhaust there and no tune on it, it was still in the safe range to ride. It wasn't the best, but it was safe to ride. So we feel confident that throwing this system on and, you know, riding it for a little bit will be okay.
Yeah, the computer has the ability to recalibrate within a certain parameter. This change, we feel like the computer could learn itself a little bit and not be too crazy out of whack. So yeah, we're pretty good with this, and I'm excited to hear.
All right, well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to turn the camera around, show you the full system. Cole, are you almost ready? Here it is. Woo!
So good.
Dang. Looks so good. If you guys remember, the old system used to go past the bag, used to also cross over, go under the bike. There was a dual muffler. So now you can see pipe side, chromed out, equal length head pipe, super shorty muffler. B side of the bike, no more muffler. Let's get this thing lowered and let's hear this thing. Getting excited, look at how excited you are.
I'm so excited. Get on that thing, dude. Let's hear it.
Well, let's pull it off the lift. Push. The moment of truth. on it out on the road. I want to let her warm up a little bit before I crack the throttle.
Sounds good. It's not like too loud.
And it sounds like a Harley again.
Yeah, finally sounds like a Harley.
Well, there you have it. In about an hour and a half, the three of us threw on this new exhaust, and this is just the beginning, I think, of our performance upgrades on this 2024 bagger. If you guys enjoyed this video, thank you so much. Please hit the like button, please subscribe, follow along as we keep building this thing up throughout the next how-tos and our vlog. So with that being said, we'll see you guys.
See you later.
On the next one. Is there a bit more like about it?
Well, that's gonna be in the comparison. Do you turn that one off?